Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. And one of my previous videos I was discussing the big cat attack methods and what was the key to their rise of their dominance as an apex predator. But some people misunderstood the point of the video and started thinking that I was saying that big cats are invincible and can take down anything. This is a sequel video where I discuss the different flaws and weaknesses of the big cats and essentially show that they are not invincible, and many times their prey animals can absolutely fight back. So we have our fair share in the internet where we see that there are different videos and pictures of big cats running away from certain opponents. Now today we want to analyze what causes these, what could be the potential weakness, what could be the cause of big cats running away or failing certain hunts, and how different prey animals react to that. So in my previous video I discussed that big cats attack methodologies often involve attacking the vital areas of the prey, so usually on the neck, on the throat, on the spine, snout, head, any of the vital areas, either trying to stop the animal from breathing or dealing enough damage to the central nervous system so that the animal is no longer able to fight back and dies very quickly actually. So here I have prepared a visualization to show how certain herbivores or any other animals try to defend themselves against big cats. So the prime example here I have is the tiger trying to hunt a bunch of buffaloes. And you will see why I use this example, because it's based on a real life video which shows actual tiger attacking a bunch of buffaloes. So you will get a better idea how that plays out. So in this case, the tiger wanting to hunt a buffalo can take two routes. The first route is going directly for the nearest buffalo. So when it does that, few things need to consider. First, the tiger needs to be strong enough to bring down the buffalo. Second, the tiger needs to be fast enough to catch up to the buffalo. And while the tiger is both of these things, catching up to the buffalo will take a while, because the tiger needs to close the distance. It's not an instant thing, so it needs to close the distance. And what happens if it charges from here is that immediately it will be spotted by this one, and this one. And what they will do is what is called a rally call or an alarm call, which causes all of the buffaloes to form a defensive barrier, essentially a defensive formation, very similar to phalanx formation by the Greeks, where it's all horns. It's just a wall of horns pointing at the tiger. And while the tiger could continue to pursue this buffalo, the problem is it will get intercepted by these other buffaloes which can attack from other directions and gore the tiger to death. Now while the tiger is strong enough to fight one buffalo on its own, it simply isn't strong enough to fight all of them at once. So in these cases, tigers often retreat and their hunts fail because they get spotted, and the buffaloes can essentially make a barrier. Essentially, this target buffalo reaches safety. This is important in the later examples. Remember, the fail of an ambush means the prey reaches safety. Now, let's look at the other option the tiger could take, which is sneaking through the tall grass into these bushes to close the distance and eventually reaching this buffalo. And immediately, one thing you will notice is that the distance that the tiger needs to cover to catch the buffalo is much less in this case. It only needs to cover this much distance before it can catch the buffalo, instead of the previous one where it needs to cover like this distance, which will take much longer than this. This will almost be instantaneous. Now, when this happens, the advantage the tiger has is it can catch the buffalo not too far away, only like this much distance the buffalo managed to travel before the tiger caught up to it and essentially grabbed it by the neck. Now what happens here, because it's a sudden attack, it plays into herd psychology, because there is no herd rally call or alarm call, the herd animals have no way to defend themselves. They don't know what's going on. They are all spooked out and they're running in different directions instead of forming a defensive. Like these guys have been forming a defensive barrier, but they were a bit too far away and it's too late. The tiger has already grabbed their friend and probably is snapping the neck. So by the time they will reach the tiger will probably have done its job and get out of there. So here, because the closest two buffaloes got spooked and run away, the tiger could have a fair 1v1 against this buffalo and win this confrontation. And it's based on a real video, I said, and here's the video. Here you can see, because the tiger came out charging, the buffalo ran away. Only one of them, the closest one, could try to defend it, but the tiger, being extremely powerful, is now positioning itself in a way that the buffalo that it's trying to kill, it's grabbed, it is working like a wall between itself and the rest of the herd, which will eventually try to defend this poor buffalo that is being grabbed and neck snapped essentially. So you can see it's repeatedly moving away from this buffalo and positioning itself in a way that the friends of these buffalo, like these ones and the ones that are coming from behind, cannot reach him without hurting their friends, without hurting their poor friend. And as the confrontation continues, you will notice that the tiger has already snapped the neck, quickly spooked them again, and then ran back to safety. What you can see here is that this buffalo is already dead. The tiger has ran to safety into the higher ground where the buffaloes cannot charge at him, so he can simply wait there for the buffalo herd to leave and eventually take his prize. Now, what if the buffalo did not have a herd to run to? What if it didn't have the safety of a herd? And in that case, the tiger can actually directly charge at it and eventually catch up to it and kill it. Which happens, but it's very rare because buffaloes or any other herbivores in the modern day are very rarely without a herd. They very rarely roam by themselves. It's most of the times they live in a herd. Now, another misconception. Now, once it catches up, obviously it can use these different methods I discussed in the previous video, that it can neck snap or do something similar. Now, oftentimes people claim that big cats cannot bring down prey without ambush, like ambush is somehow a strength modifier or something, which is not. All cats use ambush. Okay, ambush is not like giving them a strength advantage. It prevents the prey from running into safety. Like in the previous case, the safety was from the herd. In this case, the safety is coming in the form of a hole. So in this example, you can see there is a garden where there is this field mouse, which is trying to eat from this bush, and it lives in this hole. And there is this cat which is trying to hunt the mouse. Now, house cats don't need ambush to kill something so small. They are so much bigger and more powerful than the mouse. One bite and the mouse will be dead. However, they still use ambush. Now you might ask why. The reason for this, if the cat used the direct approach to catch the mouse, what will happen is the mouse will run away into the hole where the cat can no longer follow, hence failing the hunt. Now, when you look into the other situation, where instead of going directly, the cat cuts off the mouse before it can go into the hole. And in this case, the ambush is not making the cat more powerful somehow. It still needs to catch up to, or neither is it making it more fast or letting it land a better hit on the mouse. What it is doing essentially is it's preventing the mouse from running to safety where the cat can no longer attack it. It's the same thing as the buffalo running to the herd and the herd protecting it. So that's the example I'm trying to give here. Now, obviously, as you can see, once it anticipated the mouse before, or intercepted the mouse before it can reach the hole, it can simply bite the mouse and kill it. Now, let's take another extreme example, which is like, can ambush ever be used offensively? Well, Yes and no, because ambush doesn't give any animal more attack power. What it can help the animal, however, is to avoid attacks, and that is what the main goal of this particular simulation is. Here, the elephant is an animal that is so big and so tanky that the big cat in this case being the tiger, the biggest one, can simply not pin down the elephant, the adult elephant, and suffocate it. It's just too big. So what the big cat needs to do is avoid this area in the red, which I highlighted as like the attack zone. This is where the elephant primarily attacks with its tusks, with its trunk, or with its kicks. So the tiger ideally wants to attack in a different method. What it wants to do is it wants to bleed out the big elephant, and for that it needs to attack the hindquarters. Granted, a few disclaimers here. These methodologies don't work that well, okay? These work in very specific scenarios, usually in the cover of darkness and when there is a lot of places to hide. So here what the tiger will try to do is repeatedly attack the elephant and try to bleed the hindquarters so that eventually the elephant dies from blood loss. It has happened before, but it's rare because it's far more difficult for a tiger to do this. So as you can see, it's repeatedly. Now in this case you can see the elephant has turned to face where the tiger was, but because the tiger is much faster and more agile, it has moved to the side, attacked the hindquarters, and hid into the bushes. Now once the elephant turns, it attacks again and again, from here to attacking here. Now this is, if it can do this repeatedly, eventually the elephant might fall dead due to the blood loss. However, there are certain caveats to this, is that it only works with lone elephants and in the cover of darkness. It doesn't work with elephants when they're in a group, because or they're in broad daylight where their friends can see the tiger coming into multiple directions. So that's why elephants only get targeted by tigers when they are alone, which is very rare. Another time when elephants get targeted when they're really small. So if for some reason the baby elephants get away from the herd, oftentimes tigers use ambush to grab them, snap their necks, or bite their spine or suffocate, whatever, and then run away into the cover where the elephants cannot follow them. By the time the elephant comes up, like these guys, and these guys come up here, the tiger is already gone. And to prevent such situations, elephants often keep their babies in the middle of the herd, so that the tiger needs to avoid them at all cost, because it cannot directly go there. The elephants will go there. And you can see this again, that it's not the size of the opponent, it's actually the number of opponents which can cause problems for the tiger or any other big cat trying to attack the prey. So let's look at another example where instead of attacking, the tiger is the defender here, where it's being attacked by wolves in this case. Now, our key point is that wolves by themselves are not powerful enough to bring down a tiger. They don't deal enough damage to their opponents to bring down such a large animal, and they simply don't have the tools to fight a tiger in a 1v1. In a 1v1, a tiger can absolutely demolish the wolves with single paw swipe maybe. But here the problem is the tiger can only attack something in this zone. Maybe here, if it's pushing it, it can turn and attack these two. But while the tiger is dealing with these two, these three can totally come from behind and deal a lot of damage, because they're attacking a tiger when it can't defend itself. So that's the point here. Not only it needs to be multiple opponents, they all need to be able to attack from multiple directions. And this is what we see, that once the tiger can limit the direction they're coming from by, let's say, backing up against the canopy or backing up against the tree lines, it can actually successfully defend them, because any one of them coming close enough will immediately get attacked by the tiger, and they cannot reach the tiger in a safe way. So another example of this is this bear attack, which is often brought up by a lot of people. First and foremost, I want to show you there is a second bear. This is why the tiger is not fully committing to this attack, because if it does commit to the attack, what will end up happening is this second bear will come in and attack the tiger from behind, and as the video plays out, you will notice that the tiger is not fully committed to this attack. It's simply not able to attack the one mama bear because the cub, which is again the size of the mama bear, can come from behind and do critical damage while the tiger is busy with the mama bear. So this is why, despite being much smaller than something like a gaur or a bison or a buffalo, because there are multiples of them, the tiger is struggling against it. Now here you can see, while the tiger has gotten a decent grip against the mama bear, you will see in a second. Hang on. You can see the tiger is getting a good grip, but at the same time the tiger will look up to see where the other bear is. It's now worried. It's now not able to fight properly, and it's now not fully committed to this fight. Now it's distracted by the second bear in the background. And eventually the tiger will realize that this is a fight that it cannot win, because at any moment the other bear can come from behind and attack it. So that's a morale boost to the mama bear that is fighting, and it's a morale debuff for the tiger that is attacking, because it needs to repeatedly look out for the other bear to come in and attack it. So due to this reason, eventually what happens is the tiger realizes that it cannot fight in a 2v1 and runs away, because it's simply not worth it. However, when it's a 1v1, the tiger doesn't really have to worry about another animal attacking it. They kill sloth bears pretty easily because they are not that big, they don't have any special advantages. In general, bears don't have any such advantages against tigers other than maybe, let's say, their size, which again isn't a problem for a tiger because tigers bring down much bigger animals. So that's the only reason why tigers often avoid sloth bears with cubs, because usually the cubs are about the size of the mother. Now if it is a mother with only one small cub, maybe, but at the same time you can see the issue here. Now the final conclusion will be that big cats are great in 1v1s. They are amazing at bringing down larger opponents in a 1v1. However, they struggle against opponents that fight in groups because they cannot attack multiple opponents at the same time. Now, granted, one or two wolves biting the tiger probably will not cause enough damage. One or two bites is fine, but if they repeatedly attack the hindquarters of the tiger, it will eventually bleed out. So this is why against a pack, against a 1 versus many, the tiger struggles, while in a 1v1, in this case, despite this buffalo being much bigger than the tiger is at an advantage here. It can bring down the buffalo similar to the methods I have shown in my previous video. So with that conclusion, I hope it clears up that I'm never claiming that big cats are invincible, and I'm just saying they have weaknesses, but at the same time they're good at certain things. Like here in a 1v1, they're bad at fighting multiple opponents at the same time. Now there are big cats which specializes into being slightly better at fighting multiple opponents, for example lions, because they have to regularly deal with hyenas. But even then there is a limit, like how many hyenas can a male lion fight at once. It's not like 20 or 40 fully committed hyenas. It's more like 4 or 5 hyenas at a time. If all the hyenas are fully committed, no, the male lion simply cannot fight all of them at once. So I hope this video has been educational for you. Hope you learned something. Let me know what videos I should make next. And as always,